that's not what I wanted. There we go. Little teaser there. Hey everyone, Steve Gonzer, physical therapist with Run Smart Online. It is finally getting light out later. We had 60-degree weather in Buffalo, which was amazing. So anyone who got out to run today that's near me, sure, I actually saw one guy with a shirt off, which is pretty awesome. But if you don't know me, I'm Steve Gonzer. I'm a physical therapist, and I've been helping runners over the last 10 years improve their run form, their training and stuff to help them get better, run faster, get over injuries, all that good stuff. I want to show you. I've been treating. I treat patients every day, and I want to show you some runners that came into the clinic today. Before we get started, this is part of something that we have ongoing training that we have called the Midfoot Project, where we have a 5-week training series to help runners get off their heel, run smarter, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to make some points here. The first one is if you're running like the runner I'm about to show you, you really need to drastically think about your run form and your training. You spend all this time, right? I remember when I was training for all my marathons, and I'm getting ready hopefully to gear up for another one here. Spend all this time training and logging miles. And in the course of training, you're spending millions and millions of steps on every, over the course of a training cycle. And if there's a faulty problem in that stride in your run, every time you take a step, there's something wrong there. Eventually that compounds and gets people hurt. So I want to show you two things. I want to show you a runner who runs typically like most people run. And if you do this, you're increasing the shock to your joints and your knees. You're asking for slower running, and you're really kind of not engaging the key things that are going to move you down the road. It's more of a start-stop cycle. So I see this quite often with runners. I'm going to show you the first one, and I want to show you another runner who came in this week. So I got two runners that came in this week. We're working on run form, and I want to show you what we did, what they were doing. I don't have any finished product for you yet, but I want to show you what they're doing because this is how most people run, believe it or not. So the first runner, I've been talking a lot about these type of runners for a while. Let's just slow this down. I'll just show you her running. So this is typically how most people run, right? And they have that leg come way out to the front. They bang on the heel. So let's just stop her. Let's let this other leg come through. We're going to stop her. So this is a typical run form for the general population. Here's the cool thing. Well, not cool, but there is a survey done that looked at and asked people how their foot strike was. And they surveyed everyone, hey, are you a forefoot, a midfoot, or a rear foot striker? Rear foot being a heel striker. And 90-something% of people couldn't identify their foot strike. A lot of people thought they weren't heel strikers, and they are. And we know 90+% of people run this way. So if you think you don't, just go look at your training shoes, your running shoes, and if you see a little spot worn out in the heel, you run this way. But 90% of people run this way. So I'm going to just go ahead and draw some lines in here. So this is how most people run. This is the conversation I had with this runner. When this leg goes out, and I call it the Air Jordan pose, right? You think about that Nike emblem on all his Air Jordan sneakers. He's going for the dunk from the foul line. That's kind of this posture where we have this. Let's see if I can draw some lines in here for you. We have this scissoring gait from one leg to the back. And the big problem with this is this front leg. So if you've ever seen a race photo and you look like this, it's definitely a problem. So what we want to do when we run is obviously you want to run down the road and be faster and all this stuff. So when you push off on this leg, right, you'd want to go this way. The problem with this, if you just look at this run posture, remember 90% of people are running this way. When this runner pushes off here, she's braking here. So just look at the force of what happens here when, draw this line in. This is the line of force that the ground's acting on her body. You can see how it's driving her backwards, and it's very tough to overcome that. So what ends up happening is when runners run this way, you have to catch from this back of the leg, and you have to pull your foot underneath you, okay? Very inefficient, very difficult to do. And really, this is the equivalent, and I've been talking a lot about this, it's the equivalent of driving your car down the road and tapping the brakes. And if you tap the brakes frequently, like you run, you take 160 steps a minute on average between both legs, imagine driving 160 times a minute just tapping the brakes in your car. This is how most runners run. And it's why we started the Midfoot Project, you can check out at midfootproject.com, is to show people how to stop running this way, because not only is it slowing you down, let me show you what else she's doing. So what we know here is that when this foot right here contacts the ground, there's a huge spike in force. About 3 times your body weight comes in contact with the ground. In that time frame from, let's see if I can do this, I'm getting fancy here for you guys, fancy pants. That time from the time that she hits the ground to here, where you get that max peak, It's 3 times your body weight in 5 milliseconds. Very quick force with a lot of force is damaging to the body. This is a lot of research that's been done on this that shows this. And what ends up happening is we get the second force. So let me show you where that is. Here's her heel hit, and there's her foot slap. So now you can see her foot slap to the ground. So now she has not only this massive spike in force on this first one, but now she's got this second spike in force from a foot slap, and then the foot comes to the ground and she pushes off. When we change the way, this force right here, this is the thing that gets a lot of people hurt. One of the number one injuries in runners is runner's knee. We're very clever when we name things, I guess. But the knee is the most injured joint in runners. It's the thing that people worry about. You hear your uncle who's, not the healthiest individual tell you, how are your knees? You're ruining your knees every year at Christmas time or at the family party. There is some truth to it. This is the most injured joint. There's no truth to it giving you arthritis and all that other crap. But it's the most injured joint, so you really want to protect your joints. Problem is, when you are the majority of runners who run like this, it will bang away at your joints. It is tough to do. So now let's think about this real quick. You're running slower because you got that foot, you're tapping the brakes, and you're increasing your risk for injury in the most injured joint, the knee. There is a way to transition to a smarter way of running. I want to show that because we had a runner come in today. It's actually footage from today. She came in, she has great run form, but I want to show you a second piece of the run form that we tackle in the Midfoot Project. So before I forget, midfootproject.com, if anyone's interested in getting just better run form in general, we have a 5-week course that teaches all this stuff of how to fix these major errors as a stepping stone to get faster and injured less. So I want to show you the second runner. Let me see if I don't mess this up at all. Perfect. All right, so this is another runner who came in today. I'm going to see if I can move this down a little bit. We'll see a little bit more of her. You're going to notice something right out of the gate, and let's just let this play through. If it's going to, come on, baby. So I'm talking a lot about midfoot strike, and this is a good example of a good foot strike. I'm going to pause this here in a second, but she comes through, and here's the key thing. I want you guys to understand, as I talk about midfoot strike, I talk about it a lot, the key thing is the midfoot strike or the better foot strike comes from better knee position. And you're going to see it in this runner. Because you think, oh, she's hitting her heel, it's a huge problem. I can tell you, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been helping thousands of runners do this. I was going to say make some kind of really bad analogy or something. The proof is in the pudding is the best results come from a bent knee position. That's what the research supports. That's what the mechanics of motion support. So let me show you this. When she's contacting the ground, if you remember the other runner, she had this driving force backwards. But look at the shin. You see how the shin is more vertical? So when that force comes up, this runner is going to get more of an upward push of her force. What does that mean? It means her glute, her hamstrings, her quad and her calf, all those muscles are going to engage. So this is a really good example of what we want to achieve, even with that little bit of heel strike. That is not the big hook. You don't want a heel strike, but it's really about this knee position. That's what we teach in the Midfoot Project, is how to do this safely. Because here's the thing, is when you transition to this run form, and hold in here, because I'm going to show you something else with this runner that shows you that it's not just run form that's going to keep you on the roads, because she came in with some injuries. So when you transition to this way, you're taking the load from bones, which is the first runner, loading up her bones a lot. When you change your run form, you give it to the muscles. If your muscles are not prepped for that, it's a high risk for injury. We figured this out pretty quick when we started doing thousands of these things over the last 10 years. But you have to pair this with some exercise, and that's certainly what we do with the Midfoot Project. We give you all the exercises that you need to get stronger in your glutes and stronger and better balance and stronger calves and all these things that you need. But I want to show you something. We go back to why this is faster. So when she runs this way, she's not getting the impact from her knees, so bang, there's the kicker to switch so you don't get injured as much. Here's the other thing. When she pushes off on this, she's not going to be braking so hard. So from a speed standpoint, that line force is not driving her hard backwards. It's just pushing her up. So from a speed standpoint, when she pushes off, she's going to be able to carry over that leg much easier. It's a much faster way to run, and it's super beneficial if you are a runner who's looking to continue to stay on the roads or you're just frustrated with injury. This is a critical step. There's the pun. I always get it in there. That's the pun. It's a critical step in your run form to make this change. But here's the thing. I want to show you the thing I was talking about. The importance of being strong and using exercises when you make this transition. Because this runner has some weakness. I wish I would have filmed this a little bit better, but I'm going to show you what she's doing that is, even with good form, if you don't have the exercises to go with it, you still get in a lot of trouble. So I'm going to show you that now and go from there. If anyone's interested in learning more about this program, go to midfootproject.com. In fact, if someone could just type midfootproject.com into the comments, because I will probably break this if I do that when I'm doing that. So just so someone can click on it and they don't have to worry about typing it in or anything. I'm just trying to do this. See, this is why I don't type it in. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna see if I can, hang in there. All right, let's look at this. So this is the importance of exercise when you're running, using exercise and strength exercise and things. So we're just gonna watch, and we're gonna watch how she interacts with the ground, when she hits. We're gonna start on the right side. Actually, yeah, I'll start on the right side. So she has some other things going on in here, but let's watch the right foot come in contact with the ground. We see this down here, right? So the force is coming up, it's going to push up into her body, and then we just want to see how does she control that. One of the key things we always look at, and it's not the only thing, but it's one of the key things, we like to look at flexibility, or not flexibility, rather, the position of the hips, position of the arms. I wish, this is where I said I wish I would have changed this, I wish I would have tucked in her shirt when we did this. But you're going to see this on the other side. So the easiest thing to look at is you can see, I mean, you can kind of see the trace of this. I can tell you her pelvis has dropped a little bit, but when you see the other side, you're really gonna notice this. So we want to see what that looks like. So let's go through on her left side. She hits the heel, but she's got that bent knee. We saw that from the front, so that's all good. And then here's what I want to show you. Look at her knees. So we're gonna look here. See how they're banging together? Look at her foot. Go down there, yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, the best part. Everyone's a Seinfeld fan, you know what I'm talking about. She's riding the inside edge of her foot. You see how everything's kind of collapsed down and in? So her leg has all collapsed down and in. Her foot is collapsed down and in. And then actually, it's tougher to see here, but her pelvis has dropped on that side. If you look at the shirt's a dead giveaway. See all these wrinkles in here? Let's zoom in on this. See all these wrinkles right in here? So, and then it's kind of taut on the outside, which would indicate that this has fallen down. You can actually see the line of her shirt and see how that's fallen. So what we look at is good run form, but there's some strength issues in here. And I can tell you that this runner is lacking glute strength for various reasons. And she's lacking balance. So great run form, but not necessarily the greatest strength. So one of the things that we like to do, and we do this with all of our run form people, and we do this in the Midfoot Project, is we teach you some exercises, mainly glute, hip strength, balance exercises, and things to prep your body, but also sustain better run form. So you can't just work the run form and say, I'm going to stop hitting my heel, I'm going to run on my toes, I'm going to switch over to my midfoot. If you don't have the exercises to go with it, it's pretty tough. And there's a lot of stuff out there, but marrying all that stuff, finding the right stuff is challenging. So the key thing I want you to take away from this, number one, most people don't know if they heel strike. In fact, they usually do. If you're a heel striker, you run slower, you're more risk for injury, and you have more impact to your knees. I mean, that's kind of the plain story about that. If you want to switch to midfoot, it offers a couple benefits. It allows you to engage your natural rubber bands. It allows you to brake less on every step. But here's the kicker, is you need to be strong with it too. You need the exercises to go with it. So I want to thank everyone for watching. If you have any questions, drop in the comments. But here's the number one thing also. If you're interested in getting faster, stronger, and being a better runner, go to midfootproject.com. Just check out the page. There's some awesome testimonials of people who've taken this program in the past. We're going to be about 17 days out from launching this thing, and then we're closing it. And I'm not sure when we're reopening it. I know people sometimes say that and they open it like the next day. I can guarantee it's not going to be for at least 5 weeks, but we're putting all these people through the program. So if you're interested in being a better, smarter runner, come join us. We'll teach you everything we learned over the last 10 years with myself and Patrick O'Connor. It's a great program, great course, and we give you everything you need. So otherwise, run well and enjoy this nice weather. It's supposed to get junky here in Buffalo shortly, but hope all is well, and I'll talk to you guys soon. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in. Deanna, thank you for writing that in for me, because I definitely would have forgot. All right, guys, have a great night. Bye.